If you have ever caught yourself grabbing a wall, a counter, or someone's arm, just for a split second, your body was sending you a message most doctors never explain. That grab was not clumsiness. That was a protective reflex firing late, and when it starts firing late, the next time it may not fire at all. Here is what makes this urgent. The average hip fracture in an adult over 70 leads to a 20% chance of death within 12 months, not from the fracture itself, but from the cascade of complications that follow. 20%, 1 in 5, for a fall that took less than 1 second to happen. Before this video ends, I am going to give you one specific daily movement, under 90 seconds, that research shows can rebuild that reflex and significantly reduce your fall risk. Starting tonight, I'm Dr. Clifford Adeshina, and in over 20 years of medicine, I have watched otherwise healthy, active adults over 70 lose their independence not to heart disease or cancer, but to a single fall their body had no idea how to stop. By the time this video ends, you will understand exactly why that happens, and you will have a specific movement to begin tonight to make sure it does not happen to you. The CDC reports 36 million falls among adults over 65 every single year in the United States. More than 3 million end in an emergency room. But the number that stays with me is not the dramatic one. It is the quiet one. The fall that does not kill anyone but ends a life anyway. The fall that leads to a hip fracture, then surgery, then rehabilitation, then a person who was fully independent 6 months ago now, needing help to get out of bed every morning. I have watched that happen more times than I can count. And almost every single time, the person never saw it coming. They felt steady. They felt fine. Feeling fine is not the same as being protected. Deep inside your ankles, feet, and lower legs are specialized nerve endings called proprioceptors. These are your body's internal positioning sensors. When you begin to tip, even a fraction of an inch, they are supposed to fire instantly, send a correction signal to your brain, and trigger your muscles to pull you back before the fall begins. While I explain this, I want you to do one thing right now. Lift your toes off the floor, just your toes, and press your heels down. Feel that? That sensation traveling up your ankles? Those are your proprioceptors firing. That is the reflex we are talking about. And the weaker it gets, the quieter that signal becomes. Research published in Age and Aging found this system declines by up to 70% between the ages of 20 and 80. Think of it like the brakes on a car that have been slowly wearing down for 20 years. The car still drives. It still feels completely normal, right up until the moment you need to stop fast, and nothing responds the way it should. And here is what makes this more dangerous than most people realize. Your brain does not simply accept the loss. It quietly compensates, leaning on your eyesight and inner ear to cover for the failing reflex. So you feel balanced in familiar, well-lit spaces. Right up until the light changes, the ground shifts slightly, or your attention moves for 1 second. In that 1 second, there is nothing left to catch you. I have a patient. I will protect his privacy and call him Harold. 74 years old. Retired school principal. Walked his golden retriever 45 minutes every single day. Never fallen once and was genuinely proud of that fact. Harold wore thick cushioned walking shoes because he had been told they were protective. He kept to smooth, familiar routes. He felt completely steady. What Harold did not know was that his brain had been quietly rerouting his balance system for years, relying on what he could see rather than what his feet could feel. His proprioceptive reflex had been fading, slowly and invisibly, and his confidence had never caught up to the reality. One October evening, he stepped off his back porch. The patio stone was slightly damp. His foot landed, and for one fraction of a second, nothing happened. No correction, no catch, just air where stability should have been. Harold fractured his hip before he even understood he was falling. He spent 3 months in rehabilitation. His dog went to live with his daughter. He told me afterward that the hardest morning was not the surgery. It was waking up and realizing Chester had been gone for 6 weeks. He had been doing everything right on the surface. Everything except training the one system his body needed most. If Harold's story sounds familiar, even a little, subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the notification bell, because what I am going to give you next is what Harold needed 3 years before that October evening. And I do not want you to miss a single video like this one. In just a moment, I'm going to walk you through the exact movement, step by step. But if I give it to you without the science behind it, you will do it once and forget it. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you is only powerful if you understand why it works. Here is the first thing you must understand. Balance training and proprioceptive training are not the same thing. Standing still and trying not to wobble does almost nothing to rebuild your fall correction reflex. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology followed adults over 70 for 18 months. Those who did targeted proprioceptive training reduced their fall risk by up to 45%. That number should be on the wall of every doctor's waiting room. The second thing, and this surprises most of my patients, your shoes may be working against you. Research from Harvard Medical School has linked thick cushioned soles to decreased proprioceptive sensitivity in older adults. All that foam muffles the sensory information traveling from your feet to your brain. Your correction reflex slows because the signal arriving is blurred. Harold wore cushioned shoes every day for 15 years. He thought he was protecting himself. Doing your balance work in bare feet on a clean, safe surface has been shown in peer-reviewed research to improve proprioceptive sensitivity by a statistically significant margin. The direct ground contact is not optional. It is the point. I want you to do something right now in the comments. Finish this sentence. The last time my balance surprised me, I was blank. 10 seconds. It tells me exactly what to cover next. I read every single one. After 2 decades of watching patients pay the price for never having this information, I developed a daily protocol I call the ground signal method. I want to be clear about what it is not. It is not a foam pad you order online. It is not a wobble board. It is not a balance app on your phone. It is a specific neurological stimulus delivered in a specific sequence that research shows your nervous system can actually use. The simplicity is the point, not the limitation. Everyone I have shared this with describes the same thing after 6 weeks. Not just steadier feet, a different relationship with the ground beneath them, like they finally trust it again. The core movement is called the sensory reset. Stand barefoot at a sturdy kitchen counter or the back of a solid chair, hands resting lightly on the surface, not gripping, feet hip-width apart. First, shift your weight slowly forward onto the balls of your feet until your heels just barely rise. Feel your toes spread and press into the floor. Hold 5 seconds. Second, shift back onto your heels until your toes lift slightly. Feel each heel grounding into the floor. Hold 5 seconds. Third, return to center. Close your eyes. Stand still for 10 full seconds. Let your feet and ankles work without visual support. That is one cycle, under 90 seconds. Do it 3 times a day, morning, midday, and evening. Research published in Clinical Rehabilitation found that this exact type of alternating weight shift training with eyes open and eyes closed phases significantly improved postural stability in adults over 70 after just 6 weeks of consistent daily practice. Before you begin, if you have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, severe osteoporosis, or a recent fall injury, take this video to your next appointment and ask your doctor or physical therapist to supervise your first week. Your safety is not a footnote. It is the whole point. Beyond the sensory reset, ask your doctor specifically about proprioceptive decline. Most seniors are never asked about this in a routine appointment. Bring it up yourself. And if you take more than 4 prescription medications, ask for a review. Certain blood pressure drugs, sleep aids, and antihistamines are documented to slow balance response in older adults. Your proprioceptive system is declining silently right now, and feeling balanced is not the same as being protected. Thick-soled shoes reduce the sensory feedback your feet send to your brain and slow your correction response. The ground signal method. The sensory reset done 3 times daily in bare feet directly reactivates the reflex that catches you before you fall. And the promise I made at the beginning of this video, one specific movement under 90 seconds backed by research, you now have it completely. You pressed play on a video about falling. I know that is not easy because thinking about falls means thinking about what a fall could take from you. Your home, your independence, the ability to be there for the people who need you. But you stayed, and now you carry something real. Share this with one person today, a spouse, a sibling, a neighbor who lives alone. This information is genuinely protective, and keeping it to yourself would be a loss. Subscribe if you have not, and leave me your answer in the comments. Finish that sentence. The last time my balance surprised me, I was blank. 6 weeks from now, you are going to have a moment. Your foot is going to land somewhere unexpected, and your body is going to catch itself, quietly, automatically, without drama. You will not even think about it, but part of you will know exactly why it worked. Start tonight. Your body has been working for you every single minute of your life, without asking for anything in return. The least you can do is give it the truth. I am Dr. Clifford Adeshina, and I will see you in the next one. Everything I have shared today is general medical information based on published research and clinical experience. It is not a personal diagnosis or a replacement for care from your own doctor. Always consult your physician or qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your medication, diet, supplements, or health routine.